Okay.
You know, I'm a little extra when it comes to my nails, because you know that's my self-care. Like, I was really going through it, and I was telling Robert, I said, what people don't know is my nails for me is like one of the things that I did, one of the places I went to, and I didn't have to think. Like, I went in and somebody just took care of me. I didn't have to make no decisions on my nail color. I didn't have to do anything but just sit there and be pampered for an hour. So, or plus, because it's not never just an hour. I'd be in there for hours, but it was just like, oh, I just missed that. I just missed going in and my nail tech just knowing what to do. I never know what I was gonna get. Every time I went, it was a surprise. I never knew what my nails were gonna look like. So I was like, oh. And she knew me. It was like every time we were in sync. Like if I was having a tough time, I would go in and she would have all these colors because colors brighten my mood. And if I was looking for something kind of jazzy, she just knew. She just covered me. So, I'm missing my nail tech, but it is what it is. But thank you for the
I
compliment.
need me a self-care day. I need me a full body massage,
Yes.
facial, foot rub, matty, patty, anything else they can rub. I need it. I need it. I just need a day with no work, no phone calls, no text messages, no emails, no Skype, no Uvu, no carrier pigeons, no message
So
in a bottle.
so when are you gonna book that?
Day. I am actually trying to run away from home.
Yes. Oh,
Run away
listen.
from home.
You want some company?
Yes. Trying to run away from home, girl. I think on my birthday I'm gonna get me like a cabin or something, but I also just want to go and have like a complete spa day, just like nothing else. Just get everything done: hair, nails, facial, chiropractic. I want some acupuncture. I want some everything.
Yes, sis. I'm for it. I'm say do it. Do it. You can do it. You can do
Do
it
it, do it,
all
do
night
it.
long. Well, um, I have been struggling today. I've been
Uh-oh.
struggling, period, with just, we gonna talk and keep it moving. And before I hopped on, my son was like, you were talking about quitting? Because I was joking with Robert, like, yeah, I was about to quit, but Restream got my money for another year, so I might as well hop on here. And
I gotta get your money's worth.
he was like, you got equipment that you better be using too. What you talking about quitting? Like,
Hey,
no,
Gino.
I said, well, I could still use it. I use it for work. He was like, no, those people don't
Come on,
deserve
he ain't bad for work.
they don't deserve to have you in high definition. That's
Not a high definition.
he went to high definition, says. So, then after that I was in there kind of, having a pep talk in my mind, and my son came in there and he was like, um, what are you guys talking about? I was like, yeah, mom was telling daddy she was trying to quit her show. He was like, are you kidding? And I was like, no, serious. And he was like, wait, are you joking? Joking? Like, is this real? I was
He
like,
don't know what you. He like, excuse me, ma'am.
I was like, yes. Okay, why would you do that? I said, because I get frustrated. He said, yeah, that's understandable. We all get frustrated in
We all
life.
get
And
frustrated in life.
frustration can really just make you not want to do things. I totally get it. I get frustrated, especially like at the end of the quarter. They bombard you with all this work and you have to scramble and get everything done. It's frustrating. He
Come
said,
on,
so
baby.
I understand. He said, but I don't think it's a reason to quit. I was like,
Come on, son. Come on, son, with the wiseness.
you know that that's probably some stuff I done said to him, and then he throwing it back
Right.
on me, hold me accountable
Be
for
like,
for
we all
more.
get frustrated, but that's no need to quit.
So
It gets
so
frustrating.
so here we go. We are here. We
Yeah.
Gino, welcome. We've missed you, Uncle Gino. I should have tagged Uncle Gino in for this conversation, but hopefully, if he's not busy, because originally we were supposed to be talking about um, what Black men need with protection, but I switched it up for today because in recent events with the whole Will and Chris Rock thing, I felt like it was really important for us to really like dive deeper into what it means for protection. And the reason that I want to dive in deep to that is because we are, as a culture, extremely split. So this isn't a show where we're gonna rehash who was necessarily right or wrong. I've been very vocal on how I feel about it. I felt like it was out of order what happened. And as someone that is an advocate for Black woman protection, I particularly felt some sort of way about his speech because I didn't feel like that was about Black woman protection. And I wanted to kind of talk about it because a lot of Black women in our community are saying protect your wife, your woman at all costs. And there's a lot of them that's like, oh no, that is not what I meant about protection. And there's because for me, what I've been saying is
Oh,
that,
that's not what I meant.
you know, there is a line and there's a scale. And I feel like we are completely overlooking the scale. It's like one extreme to the next. And I think that when we talk, and I was telling a friend in her post, like, I think the problem is that we're not really being specific as to what it means to have protection. Because, yes, I expect Robert to protect me at all costs. Like, make sure I'm safe. Your castle should be protected at all costs, right? But I still feel like there's a scale in there on when certain things are appropriate. There's a time of when you may have to take it to the physical nature for that protection, and then there's a time when you don't. And with there and us having a compass or having a measurement on and understanding of that scale is super important so that we can get on one accord. And I feel like a lot of us that are like 10 toes to the ground, he did the right thing, is speaking from a place of trauma of not having protection for so long. It's like, I don't care in what form it comes, as long as it comes. And for me, that's scary. And here is why. I need to know that we understand where does the line stop. Like, so he was protecting her. What if Chris Rock didn't take it like a man and just kind of stand there and let it happen and they got to brawling? What if somebody got seriously hurt and because Chris Rock had been assaulted, he went in and he really damaged or really, injured Will Smith? Where does the line get drawn? So if you out with your wife and someone makes a comment, are you going to go ahead and hit that person? Then we know that not all people respond well to that. That is why a lot of people go back to their cars and get things out, and then they bring a gun to a knife fight, and it just goes on and on and on. There's a lot of people that are in graves, in prison, and other places for not having a measurement of protection. And I feel like that is only causing a deeper rooted trauma in our community. And we need to understand, when I say I want to be protected, I do. And I mean, and I said what I said, but I also want you protected. I also want to make sure that you're going to come home to me. I also want to make sure that you're not going to be ruining your life forever. I also want you to know that you can protect me without it being physical. Because what he could have done, in my opinion, was get up there and read him for filth. You show up with nasty words, I'm going to check you. And he should have checked him if he was protecting his wife. He absolutely should. But I do feel like there's a line, and I'm concerned in our community that that compass is very off. So I'm sure you've heard about it's impossible.
But what it is trauma, though.
It's
so
trauma.
I'm gonna tell you, sis. When I first seen this, sis, listen, I had just got to Kylie's house. It was her birthday, so I had just got over there, and she said pulled it up. I wasn't on my phone really, so I didn't see social media because it immediately went crazy. So I wasn't paying attention. So she said, "Y'all see this?" And we like, me and my brother, we like, nah, what she talking about? So she starts showing us the video of the slap. And so initially he walks, the joke, I'm like, okay. Then he walks up there and he slaps this man. And at first I'm like, As soon as she said, I'm like, man, that's fake. He ain't slap him for real. Whatever. And I see the video and I was like, oh, that's a hard slap. Like it was force behind that slap. People are still saying it looked staged. It did low key look like Chris Rock had his face sticking out, but it's
took that to mean like, what you got? What you got for me on this? That's
either
how
way.
I took that face being out. Like, what you
But
gonna
all I'm saying is he did not have to get up there and slap that man that way. Now it did, like Chris Rock said, it made for good TV, and I do feel like actually both parties are gonna benefit from this. Even if Will Smith gets some slack on the back end, he's gonna benefit with publicity and now his name back circulating and all this other stuff. Chris Rock ticket sales been already been sold out for his tours. So like I think both of them publicity wise is gonna win because people care and they want to hear what both of them have to say, and they have a buzz around them now. I think the Oscars won because now this is the most, especially Black people has mentioned the Oscars like ever in the existence of Oscars. So they win it. So I think it's a win for all parties involved in that way. But at the end of it all, it's a bad look. Now, my man Will, I love Will. Okay, I love his growth and his journey. Like he started off as he was Willie from Philly, and Willie from Philly slid on out at the Oscars. Okay, so all of that, but the trauma snuck out of him. And don't get me wrong, I'm not holding Will on no high pedestal. We are all human. We all slip up. I'm pretty sure some of y'all out here watching this, slipped up and slapped somebody. Okay. I'm
I
pretty
have
sure.
never slipped up and slapped nobody. I was very much of, you got words, I got words, but you just better not touch me. And by touch,
That part. That's
I mean
what makes it really bad because it was unsolicited. Like people said it was solicited by Chris Rock's words coming for his wife, but at the same time, he did not lay hands on her. He did not lay hands on Will Smith. And at the same time, it was I agree with Chris Rock. Like it's a G.I. Jane joke, my guy. Like calm down. But the trauma part comes from that is that his response wasn't just for that joke. It wasn't just for his wife's face in that moment. It was a buildup of what's been happening for years now with people talking about Will and Jada and keeping their name in their mouth and coming sideways. And I agree with what he said in the speech when he was like, look, it's only so much that a person can take. We human. And I get that because we hold, again, famous people on this pedestal like they ain't got feelings and hands. They got both. Okay.
And here's my thing, sis. I'm an advocate for absolutely positively respecting somebody. And I was pissed, okay, at how they have been dragging them for the past couple of years. Like I found myself in, and it ain't got nothing to do with me being like such a Jada Pinkett fan, or I definitely have always been a Will Smith fan. After I read his book, I fell like even deeper in that admiration for him because I thought the book was incredible. But even in the book, he talks about a lot of that trauma. And I saw immediately as, okay, he tired, but we got to hold him accountable. That is not okay. There has to be a line. And when I've been checking people and stuff, it's like, it's real funny. Like I've been real annoyed because it's like most of y'all are exactly the reason why this man did what he did.
Because if he could slap you, he probably would have. If you were standing there,
y'all
was just standing there at the moment.
All kind of uncouth words. She's been all kind of hoes and all of this. Y'all been dragging that woman through the ground. You've been dragging him through the ground because he decided to still stay. You've been emasculating him. You've been doing all of these things. And you're right. He did have enough, but that doesn't mean that was the way to handle that.
I definitely don't think it was a good plan of action. One, because Will has a reputation in Hollywood. Though people are, throwing shade at him, at the end of the day, he's still Will Effin Smith, okay? He's still an amazing actor. He's still a credit to his craft. He's still amazing. And he's also has proven himself to be on this holistic healing journey,
Mm-hmm.
food
Mm-hmm.
related, spiritually related, and all of that. And like you just set your brand back 12,000 notches. Now you got mad street cred, my dude, with that slap, but you just set your brand back because what you're saying that you're trying to be and who you're trying to be and work on yourself was just 360 with you walking on stage and slapping somebody. And I also have a problem because if that was a white actor or comedian up there talking, he would not have gotten up there and slapped him. I promise you, he would not. So it's also that issue. We feel comfortable doing that to our people, but I guarantee if that was a white comedian up there, Will Smith wouldn't have got out his seat and went up there and slapped him.
And
Even then, it would have been wrong. But I'm saying that's just a whole nother
I feel,
aspect of it.
sis, in all honesty, I agree with you, but that isn't even like my biggest issue. Like my biggest issue is that you did this egregious thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got up there and you blamed it on your call of duty to protect Black women.
It was
And
just
that
from his anger and his trauma.
and it wasn't about protecting Black women. It wasn't about that. And that was what was
Hold on, real quick. You
frustrating
can
for
keep
me.
going. I can hear you. I'm gonna just grab my charger.
Grab your charger, boo. Grab your
'Cause I don't
charger.
want to leave the combo.
I know you hear me, but I was just frustrated at the fact that it was about the name of Black women, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I've been seeing a lot of my fellow sisters being like, protect me at all costs. Like we can't holler and say we want protection and then we don't want protection. Like, yes, we can, but I want certain levels of protection or certain actions of protection in certain ways. So when I'm saying that Black women need to be protected, I'm saying that if you are the man of my life, if you're my husband or my significant other, I want you to protect my feelings. I want you to make sure that you're safeguarding my feelings. You're respecting me as a human being, as your mate, as your wife, as your woman. I want you to make sure that you let nobody else say ill things about me or speak about me in an unflattering manner around you, or if you get to the wind and hear anything, that you're correcting people and making it known that your mate is off limits, your wife is off limits. I
Right.
want you to set people correct when they're saying things that are inappropriate. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
let them know that you're not going to sit back and allow people to do that. And if in the event that I am in physical, imminent harm, I
Then you
want you
throw
to
him.
be willing to fight for me and lay down for me if you have to, if it comes down to that. But I also want you to come home, because if we were in the street, if this was a street thing, and this wasn't Hollywood and this wasn't the Oscars, these were two guys outside. And if Chris Rock had went to his car
And
and
pop the trunk.
came back, we would be like, oh, that was not necessary. Like, he took it too far. And it's like, we need to have that measurement. If you're saying and you're telling your mate, this is what I want to see to be protected, you have to understand how that could be putting your mate in harm's way, because it is not just his role to protect us. We also have to make sure that we're protecting our men in our life as well. And I remember being, sharing a story on this very show, when we first got started, about being at an event that my brother, my father were at, and having a man pretty much grope me, and it made me uncomfortable. And I turned around and checked him, but I did not tell my brother. And I was standing next to him. I didn't say nothing to him. I came back. I was visibly pissed off, and I didn't say anything. I just kind of brushed it off. And he didn't have any idea that happened until I told him about this on this show. And he was infuriated. And he said something that was super important. And it has stuck with me and resonated with me for so long. He said, I'm disappointed that you don't have enough faith in me to know when to be the warrior and when to be the savage. And you took that opportunity from me to decide on when, because I could have handled that situation without being the savage. And you didn't have enough faith in me that I know, and I have enough of an understanding of protection and maturity to handle it in a way where I could be the warrior and not be the savage. And I was like, damn, he's right. He's right. Because my first thing
The way
is,
he broke that down, though.
and I was like, so because my first thought was, my brother gonna come in here and smash, like Hulk smash this guy, because he does not play about his sister. Like, he does not play about his family, period. He doesn't play about any of us. So it was like, he's gonna Hulk smash this guy. My brother's a principal. He's an upstanding guy. Oh Lord, he's gonna be on the news. And his career is gonna be shattered. And he was like, you didn't trust me to know how to handle that as a warrior, but not as a savage. I can do that. And that stuck with me. And that is why I'm saying there are levels to protection. You can protect me without having to be the savage, because sometimes being the savage could make the difference between life and death, whether that's physically life and death or career life and death, which is now he's going to have repercussions for this career wise, or if it's just anything that can be a detriment to you as a man, as a human being. And I don't want that for Robert. I would never want him to do that. We've been out and he's been trying to fight somebody and I've been like, sit your ass down.
Right, like I feel like if I was in Jada's position, honestly, though, that is very much so. Okay, babe, you got me. But it's also, boy, if you don't sit your black behind down, what are you doing?
Because I'm like,
we are at the Oscars, my guy.
And
even if he, I feel like he could have corrected Chris after the fact. Now I get, with everything going on, he, if he was not in his traumatic place, if he was thinking logically, because when we go to our traumatic place, we aren't thinking logically, and that's what happened. You get up on stage and you slap random people for saying things when you're in a traumatic place. But when you are calm and in a place of working on healing, you think it through. So because at first, the main thing is for a lot of people on social media is he was laughing at first, which he was. And then they were basically, because the camera didn't show this, but he looked at Jada. Jada was mad. They did show her, visibly upset, but they didn't show the look between them or what happened. They put the camera back on Chris. So even if he did look at her and she was visibly upset and something within him snapped, and he walked up there. The thing was, if he looked at her and saw that she was visibly upset, even though he was like, it was a joke, because clearly he thought it was a joke because he was laughing initially, and looked at her, he could have held her hand. He could have leaned over close to her and say, babe, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to handle it. And after the show, I mean, it probably would have been on TMZ or whatever after the fact as well. But after the show, he could have stepped to him like a man and said, hey, yo, Chris, let me talk to you. I didn't appreciate that joke. She's struggling with alopecia or whatever he wanted to say, but he could have corrected him. And I'm pretty sure Chris would have been like, oh, man, I'm sorry. Probably because they said the people from the award show wrote the joke anyway. He could have explained himself. They could have talked about it because he ain't going to slap no writer, did it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like after the fact, he could have addressed it. And he could have told Jada, he could have grabbed her hand. He could have comforted her. That's support. That's protecting a black woman, showing that I got you. I'm standing in solidarity. He could have stopped laughing. He could have held her hand. He could have gave a stern look as well to show the disapproval. And then after the fact, he could have went and checked Chris on the side verbally. And if something, happened in that moment, then lay hands. But if it's verbal, y'all have a conversation man to man, heart to heart, and say, look, I don't appreciate it. I'm going to need you not to say nothing else about me and my wife. Because he's been saying stuff for years. So if he wanted to let it all out in that moment, he could have pulled him to the side and just stood with her in solidarity and held her down in that moment on live television.
I'd have been fine if he had a stood up, screamed, keep my wife's name out your mother effing mouth, forcefully and seriously. I'd have been like, that's right, Will. Tell him. And then if he had got up to accept that award and read Chris Rock for filth, and talked about him and decimated his whole tour.
But people would have still been upset even if he said, keep your name on my effing mouth. Because another thing that's
here's the thing. They'd have been upset, but there is he broke the law. Cursing and yelling at somebody is not breaking the law. He probably would have pissed the Oscars off, but he wouldn't have broken the law. He broke the law.
He lay in.
By doing that. And I think that there is a line, which brings back to the whole thing about protection. I really feel like we absolutely positively, no, he probably would not. And that is the whole thing that people are
I
saying.
definitely heard that
He
too.
would not have done it to any other person. He would not. And what got me was seeing his face, seeing Chris Rock's face after the fact. He was like visibly shaken and upset. And here's another thing. I watch Red Table Talk. I follow Jada Pinkett Smith. I knew nothing about her having alopecia, not nothing. That was the first time I had heard of it. I had to go and find where she said it and where she discussed it.
I knew of her having alopecia because
I
she's put it on her social media, like she's shown
I
like where
had
her hair
not.
is doing her thing.
Sis, when I say I hadn't heard anything about it, and I was like, I thought she just cut her hair because she wanted to cut her hair because she does that. She has cut her hair short plenty of times. She's done it plenty of times. I thought maybe she did it for a role. I didn't know. I did not know that she had alopecia, and I feel like no one's giving grace that maybe possibly, because there's a lot of celebrities is like, I didn't know either that he did not know that she had alopecia either.
That's what they're saying, that
And he didn't have a
sources are
clue.
saying he didn't know.
And he didn't write the joke. They were reading teleprompters for this. Everything that, and Pumpkin, Amber, just because it's been on social media news outlets, it doesn't mean that people have heard it. Because I have been trying for self-care not to watch so much news between the war, between the pandemic, which I heard a lot of people saying we've been in a pandemic, we are stressed. A lot of people have checked out from looking at certain things. There are times where I have to take a break from watching stuff on social media because I'm exhausted. Like, it's possible that not everybody knew that she was struggling with alopecia. I'm not saying that was I'm not making excuses because the joke was hurtful and that's it. And Chris Rock should have been corrected and made an apology. And if he didn't know, then he would have been informed that
And
that was
whoever wrote the joke needs to make an apology as well. I don't want to let that get buried in this, because I know I know that ain't really about the conversation necessarily, but I also think whoever wrote the joke needs to apologize, because they should have done their research. If they didn't do their research, they still wrote it. And so if you want an apology from anybody, right, the apology needs to come from the person who wrote the joke. But then also outside of that, I agree that what he did was not protection. It was coming from a place, again, like I stated originally, of trauma, of anger, and Chris just got it all. And again, he could have handled it so many different ways, but when you're in that traumatic place, things pop. And we've talked about it on the show before. When you just pressing stuff down, at some point the volcano just gonna bubble on up and out. And that's what we saw on national TV on that day. Or if y'all caught the replay, because I don't watch the Oscars. The replay.
I wasn't either. How I found out about it is I was sitting in my living room talking to a friend, and Robert came sliding through, because our bedroom door is connected to the kitchen. He came sliding through here in his damn socks like risky business, and was like with his mouth open and just standing there speechless, and was like, this can't be real. And I was like, what?
Right? I think that was everybody's response. Like, this is not real.
Like, this can't be real. So now I'm on the phone with my friend, like, girl, something's going on. I'm scared. Like, man, with your talk, what can't be, what didn't happen? What's real? What's not real? He said, Will Smith just smacked Chris Rock on stage. And I was like, what? So I had to go and rewind it.
I'm surprised that man come back up with a whole handprint on his face.
And he would have been justified if he had met him with a 3-piece crispy, extra spicy with hot and
he
mild.
Would have absolutely been justified.
He would have been warranted.
But can we just say that he handled it like a champ? He took that like
he handled it very classy.
He took it very well.
Even though I'm wondering how he's doing. I know he's probably not okay. It is a possibility, which this is also frustrating. It's like we pick and choose when to exhibit grace, when it fits our convenience or our narrative, because no one's willing to give Chris Rock grace that he may not could have known that this woman had or was suffering from a condition. It is very possible. that he did not know. It happens a lot where we're going through things and people may not know why people are going through things. For example, I have PCOS. For those of you who have known me, excuse the loud noise from the street, got my balcony window open. But those who have known me from high school, I was 120 pounds and I did not get heavier until after I had my daughter. And after I had her, I found out that I had PCOS. I have had to listen to so many jokes about me changing. I done ate the old Sante, all
Not
of
you
these
done
things
ate the
because
old time,
people,
say they petty. Point them
oh,
out, knock them out, sis.
oh,
I'm gonna get my
I've
Will
heard
Smith on, sis. Who was
heard
it, sis?
all kind of things, and that people were, just assuming that I just be up in here eating and I don't put all this weight on when they don't know that I am struggling from something that also contributes to my weight. And so I can't go around smacking all them people that ask me them dumbass questions about what happened and
Though you
why
may want to.
but I wouldn't, because that's a reflection of their ignorance. That's a reflection of them. And that isn't how you handle that. Now, if somebody had said something and I was visibly upset, I would expect for Robert to check them and be like, hey, don't talk to my wife like that. Like, that's not what we about to do. Like, you're going to respect my wife and you're not going to talk to her like that. And you're not going to treat her that way. But would I expect for him to roll somebody out? Like, no, not for words. But if that person had decided to touch me, or I was in some
Yes.
sort of danger, you best to be on him and make sure he doesn't get back up. Like, punch him, knock him out, put him to sleep, and make sure he's laying down for a little while and he has some time to think or sleep on the fact that he came from me. And I would expect that. And I feel like when we're talking about protection, we honestly need to be very specific on what that looks like, because the first thing that will happen is if he had hit somebody else, or if your mate is in the streets trying to give you that same type of protection because they think that is what you require, and someone comes back with something more serious and they bring a gun to a knife fight, you are going to be wanting to have that person thrown under the jail. But that person would be justified. You know what they would say? It was self-defense because that person was in danger. And then you've had your honor defended for some words, okay? But now your loved one is gone. And you absolutely need to understand that. It was very displaced anger with what he did.
Yep.
It was absolutely about having to be drugged through for months. Like, they've been dragging him and her for months, and it was bugging me even
Longer months, I
then.
think,
It's
at
like
this point.
it's been over a year, and it was like every time. I mean, at one point, it was a petition going around about stop them from being able to talk to the media, and I was like, y'all are so just, because I appreciated their transparency when they talked about their struggles. I was
But that
grateful
comes from people's
for that.
ignorance as well. Like, a lot of people are still mad that Jada said that, at a point, not current present day, but at a point in their relationship, she wasn't satisfied sexually. That wasn't a diss to him. He was aware of the conversation. And that's what a lot of people keep trying to make it like she's this bad guy and he needs to leave her and all types of other stuff. Like, he not fully aware of what's going on in his relationship. Gail, he did an interview with Gail and she was making it that way. She's like in the whole scandal of, her with August Alsina and all of that, talking to Will. And he was looking at her like, first of all, I know everything that's going on in my marriage. And Jada know everything too. You know what I'm saying? So let's step outside of our perceived notions of their relationship, because they clearly happy. They clearly have an understanding of what's going on. And to be 100% honest, a lot of people at a certain point was probably sexually unsatisfied by their partners and never said nothing.
Look, if y'all actually start talking to your wives, I'm sure a lot of them will tell you that they're not satisfied.
Right. So this wasn't a big foreign thing.
I hear it. I hear it from
said
people all the
she
time.
was, and that they talked about it, which was what they were supposed to do as a couple, and they worked it out, and now they good. But while y'all spouses is probably still quiet, y'all not good.
And none of that is here nor there. It's not your place to tell somebody what to do within their marriage. That's their covenant. Absolutely. That is between the two of them. Just the same as I would never advise somebody on how to handle troubles within their marriage. I've never told anybody to leave their spouse. That is between you and the person that you committed vows to decide what is in the best interest for you all moving forward. Whether you stay together, you work it out, or you become roommates, or you leave, whatever you do is a decision that you and your mate are the only people that can make that definitive decision. I can't do that for you. And I can't do it because I also don't know the ins and outs, the nuances of your relationship. That is none of my business. There's a lot of stuff that's none of my business. Now, people would say, well, once they talked about it, they made it our business. They were doing that in hopes of providing some encouragement that everybody struggles. Like, just because they're rich and they're movie stars and they seem like they have it all together, they too are human beings still, and they struggle. And so that was the point of their transparency. I even feel like I could respect that that Will had a traumatic break and that he was, just really tired. He was suffering from constant ridicule. They had been cracking jokes and kind of making fun with them, playing along with them the whole show. Before that, if you're on social media, people may be tweeting certain things and saying certain things, so it may come across your understanding that it's happening. So it's very real that he was exhausted, that emotionally drained and fatigued and frustrated, and he's just sick of being the ass of the joke, and he's sick of his wife being the ass of the jokes. But that is still not okay for him to do what he did. Yeah. And what we need to be able to do as a community is we can both say that was messed up and that was not okay. And I forgive you. I know why you did it. You're a work in progress, but be accountable for how messed up that was. You don't have to support or validate somebody's bad behavior to show that you understand and you have empathy. That is not the same thing. And when we're talking like, well, I get it because people be tired. Like, hell yeah, I'll be tired. But if I've been offended more times in a day than I have been complimented. And if I went around reacting in that way to everybody, I would not be on the free side of the cell. I would not be out. I would be locked up, wouldn't be able to provide for my kids, like none of that. And so we have to understand that there is a time and place for that. One of the things that I kept bringing up, I'm like, man, y'all really gung-ho about this whole protect Black women, and you all bandwagon. Yeah, he was protecting his Black woman, but most of y'all still playing R. Kelly. Most of y'all still watching Cosby. Most of y'all protecting people in your family that did some things they ain't had no business doing. Most of y'all are watching your guys slip a little something extra in your friends and that female's drink, and so she can get loose off the goose and carry her off and do God knows what.
Come on.
Most of y'all are knowing that your friends are disrespectful and verbally, emotionally abusing their women. Most of y'all have stood by and watched that at some point because you felt like it wasn't your business to get involved. So when you want to talk about protecting Black women, then if you're going to have that energy all the time. And if you're not going to have that energy, don't go and say you're trying to protect Black women, throw up the protection of Black women like a goddamn Captain America shield, and that you are up here trying to protect us all, because if that wasn't about me, what you felt in that moment was rage, and that wasn't about me. Because if you're protecting me, you're going to protect me away from the things that I just mentioned, which I happen to be a survivor of some of those things. So I don't want to hear shit about how much you all protect and love and care about Black women, and you're still allowing and participating and being complicit in some of this other stuff that's happening.
Come on.
You all are involved. You all are doing just that. You are letting people do this and hurt Black women and girls every single day. And I don't hear that protection then when you're making jokes and comments and calling women hoes and having music and such like that. That is not protection of Black women. When you make jokes about other stuff, when you're saying we're unmeritable and that other races are better than what we are, that isn't protecting Black women. So I feel like it's only a suitable form of protection when it makes you look like the big man. when you feel good, when it's stroking your ego,
Mhm.
and you feel like you've protected your woman. Are
Yeah.
most of you out there saying that you gotta protect your woman at all costs? Is your woman sexually satisfied? Do you understand her? Is she doing and taking care of all the things and feeling alone in your life? Is she getting what she needs from you? Do you provide understanding for her? Do you listen to her? Are you helping her with them kids? Are you helping her with them bills? Are you protecting her spiritually? Are you
Come on.
protecting her mentally and
Come
emotionally?
on.
We're talking about protecting her at all costs when you are the enemy in her life, and most of you are unaware. So I don't want to hear nothing
Come
about
on.
Black women if
Let
you
her
are
take the
part of
ring.
the problem. And I need us to understand that protection is a whole lot more than you slapping somebody on a stage. It is also making sure you know my needs are met and you understand me. I'm gonna get off my soapbox,
No,
but
no.
I just had
You
to say
stood on
that
that soapbox, sis.
because I'm
No, no.
tired.
I was over here
Y'all.
looking for my tambourine, but I don't know where it is at the moment because I was gonna bring it
I'm
back to this
tired, sis.
conversation.
I'm
Like,
so
yeah.
tired of everybody like using us when convenient and stepping on my pain to boost you up when it's necessary. This was not about Black women, and it wasn't even about Jada. It was about Will Smith being tired of feeling like he hasn't been able to protect his wife against you. All of you people out there talking about he should protect his wife. You're part of the problem of why he was so damaged right now, why
But
he's going through
can
it.
we talk about this fact when we're talking about protecting Black women? When we're talking about protecting Black women, all of the things that you listed, all of the things that you said, including men just hauling off and hitting women and laying hands and thinking that's acceptable, and all the other things that you said that is happening that men know they're either doing or they homie doing or somebody that they know doing, and they're okay with that. But that same man that can be either okay with it or doing it they doggone self would step up to fight somebody for a woman and think that that's what protecting is, not knowing the other list you said of the ways that we need to be protected. And so fighting is the easy part. Slapping somebody is the easy part.
Holding yourself
That's
accountable
what these men out here willing to do. They willing to
because that's what to them that's what it is. It's all surface, right? It's like I don't feel protected now. Okay, you knocked that person out at that particular moment. Okay, but then what? Because undoubtedly I'm going to be offended again. Are we going to fight everybody? Are you going to fight every single person
Are
that
you
I
gonna look in the
feel
mirror
like?
and fight your doggone self?
Listen, I already done went off on a tangent. I done already, did that about that.
Tell me you said about that.
I'm just saying because I was so full and frustrated about
Yeah.
this because I'm like, stop it, like stop it, because the argument has nothing to do with protecting us. In that moment, he was angry, he was mad, and he needed to do some sort of show of force because so he can feel like he was protecting his wife. But that wasn't who knows if that's even what she wanted him to do. Who knows if she even expected for him to go up there? I know it's all the jokes talking about she's his demise and all of that stuff. Who knows if when he got back to his seat, if Jada was like, that wasn't the way and you shouldn't have done that. Like, I didn't want you to do that. Maybe she did want him to go and set him straight. Like I said, he could have got up on that stage, walked up in that moment and turned around and was like, walked up on him and just said, keep my wife out your mouth.
Even if he did a Kanye and took the mic,
And
you
said, I'm
know,
gonna let you finish, but ain't nobody gonna disrespect my wife anymore tonight. Like
right?
it did not have to come to him putting hands. And I just want to make sure that you all are thinking about the line, because if you're gonna blur it, remember that none of us are Will Smith and Chris Rock. Ain't none of us on no Oscar stage. If you are setting that precedent for your man in your life, that is what you expect to feel protected, I need you to also know how dangerous that could possibly be. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you love your husband like I love my husband, I don't need for him to do that and possibly lose his life for that,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's necessary.
Right.
because those words at the end of the day may pierce me, but it is fleeting. As long as I have him supporting me and helping to reinforce whatever troubles and struggles I'm going with, at the end of the day, don't nobody else's opinion really matter like the one in this household matters, because he is who I am chosen to go through life with. So if you gonna say something that's offensive and hurt my feelings, we ain't gotta deal with you. You can go and set them straight and be like, no, that ain't allowed. Like, you ain't gonna say that. But damn it, I want my husband to come home in one piece above everything else, unless it's about us not being in one piece.
And
That's it.
that's where the social emotional learning comes in from. Like when you feel a certain type of way, we have to make sure that we are retraining ourselves and teaching our babies that you can use your words. That when you feel some kind of way, you can stand up for yourself and speak up for yourself and say what you need to say. But you don't, because even kids, they feel some kind of way, they swing
Snap.
it. And
And when you go pick your kid up for school and you hear that somebody excuse me, y'all, put hands on your kid, you gonna be like, and my kid ain't touched them, they just put, I want that person suspended. Absolutely not. Oh, you gonna be mad. You gonna
right.
be mad. If you say something to somebody and it was a joke and you didn't know that it was offensive, and that person just hauled off and hit you, I doubt that you gonna just stand there and be like, I deserve that.
Oh,
Ain't
dad, girl,
nobody
you
gonna
coming
stand
from
there
a
and be like,
traumatic place. I understand because you.
I understand why you did that. I deserved it. I deserved it. I don't know not a person in my life that is going to stand still and allow that to be done to them, even if they flat out wrong. The first thing they're gonna say is, I didn't touch you. And if I didn't touch you and I didn't put hands on you, you don't get to touch me. But now it's different, because the elephant in the room is most people don't like Chris Rock. Most people feel some sort of way about him. Most people
It's
feel
the
that
everybody hates Chris memes
it's
for
the,
me.
and we need to be honest about that. We need to be honest that if it had been anybody else other than somebody that you hate, y'all have been in the uproar. Y'all have been mad. But because people already feel some sort of way about Chris Rock, they are like, I don't care that he got it. Which again is not focusing on the nature of what it was supposed to be about in the first place. Like, he
It's
was
like
supposed
it
to
shouldn't have
protect the
happened.
women.
The fact is, it shouldn't happen to anyone. And with that, I feel like we should censor ourselves on the understanding, men and women. When I say we, I'm not just talking about women. I'm talking about men and women.
Facts.
Censoring yourself on the fact of, okay, now that we're here, because we most definitely here. It's happened, okay? What is protecting? What do I need to do as a man, if I was a man, to make sure she's covered without blurring these lines or stepping over these boundaries, without laying hands every 2 seconds? Because somebody always gonna have something to say. Someone always gonna have something to say.
You
What can
can't
I do
stop
as a man to make
everybody.
sure she good? Because even if you out here laying hands in the world, which again, if physical altercations occur, if somebody touch your woman, by all means, go crazy. But if it's just words, and you out here in the streets laying hands, do she also feel safe when y'all get home by yourselves? That
Or
part,
when you got to go back out, because it's not always
because you're
easy
not gonna
for
always
people
be there.
because people don't let stuff slide. And we talk about that a lot. We talk a lot about how we have no respect for human life at this point, that people just run around and be angry about stuff. So again, we are not at the Oscars. In a real life situation, your man deciding to slap somebody because they said something to you could mean that that person is going to come back and use a different kind of force. Are you prepared for that? If that person is mad now with the both of you and he gets you both, like, where is the line? Like, we have to have some clear, definitive lines at times. Like, I'm not saying that cancel Will Smith. I'm
I'm
not
not saying it
saying
either.
I'm not saying cancel him. I'm not saying cancel him, because I do believe people make mistakes and need grace. And reports are saying that the two have squashed it and have talked about it. And if Chris Rock can't forgive Will, I have zero leg to stand on to hold a grudge because he didn't slap me. I'm just disappointed in how he responded to things.
Right.
So if Chris Rock can forgive, I absolutely don't have a dog in the fight to still be angry. So I'm not saying that we need to cancel him, but what has been problematic to me and concerning for me is that this lack of understanding that we could both be wrong and need to be held accountable, and we can both give grace and understand that he's human and he's going through something, and the two are not um they are not like necessarily one without the other. I had the word there, y'all bear with me, it's been a long day, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be one side or the other. Two things can coexist in the same space, and that it was flat out wrong, it was unnecessary force, and poor Will Smith has been through it and he's had a lot, and he may need a different type of support than he's been getting, and we need to kind of be mindful of how we talk to each other and not pushing people's buttons and not dragging people through the ground when they're already down on the ground, and that we're being more focused on mental health. This could have been a conversation for all of those things, and just being more mindful that people are fighting battles that we don't know anything about sometimes. So we might want to be careful with our words, which is something that I absolutely safeguard. I try so hard to be very careful with my words when I'm talking to anybody. And if I think that I may have made a misstep, I apologize and I try to correct, even if it wasn't intentional. It doesn't mean that I should be able to get away with it. And so I just want us to be able to hold ourselves accountable, but still recognize that, yeah, this person has made a mistake, but that doesn't mean that mistakes don't have consequences. Every
Right.
mistake has a result, has a repercussion, and we need to be okay with that. Like, we need to be okay with saying, dang, Will, that was not cool. And not necessarily being like, which I think is why people are so staunch on, like, I support him because nobody wants him to get canceled, because we look up to Will,
But
right?
you can say I don't support your actions without canceling somebody. That's like you can disagree with somebody without arguing. Like, I can not like your actions and still like you as a person. I just need you to do better.
That's it. That's it.
That's
You're a
all.
work in
And
progress.
because I like you, I'm gonna hold you accountable because I know you can do better, or I will want you to do better. And I
Because
think
I
that's
love you, I want to hold you accountable. Because
right.
I want you to be your best self. Because I want you to get better and to continue your journey of growth. I want to correct you and I want to give you grace because I think you can do better. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
the most important part about grace. You give grace when you extend it because you know and you want to believe and hope and have faith in that person being able to grow. But before we get too late here, I wanted to take some time to be very intentional and very specific on what it means to provide protection, because I feel like we're either here or we're here, and we got a whole lot of space in the spectrum when it comes to what protection looks like. So, as mentioned before, like, there's a time to lay hands. Like, when I'm in imminent danger, I
I
need
need
you
to
to be
know.
willing to know, right, that you
Bow,
gonna
bow,
come
bow,
handle,
bow.
that you gonna handle business, right? You gonna make sure that I am protected, right? But I also understand that if you can settle something by words, then I want you to do it. If you can settle something by setting boundaries, I want you to do that, because that's protecting. When you set boundaries on what you allow in our life, that's protection. That's
Yeah.
protection for me. Um, if it's between you and I, if I'm having a tough day or I'm going through some emotional struggles or mental health struggles of my own, then I can lean on you. I know you're going to support me. You're going to comfort me. You're going to uphold me, uplift me. You're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I survive and I get through this. That doesn't mean that I want you to do it for me, because that's a whole nother conversation. I'm going to be working through it myself, right? But I want to know that you're there to
You can
support me,
hold space.
that you hold space for me. That's protection. If you protecting it, you in the protective spirit. If you see somebody or your counterparts harming another woman that you're intervening, and if nothing else, holding that man accountable, and you're saying
Mm-hmm.
that ain't cool, like that's not how you treat a woman, or that's not all right. If you know people that's out here causing harm to women and Black women, that you out here reporting that they ass because you know that they
Mm-hmm.
know something is wrong, that you're not keeping that a secret, and you're not protecting that person for doing that harm. That is protection. That just
Yep.
reporting them. If you know that somebody is capitalizing on some other person's pain, that you don't support that you don't monetarily support that endeavor, and you don't give them your money. They don't get your patronage. That is Black woman protection. If I'm being harmed by police and I'm out here protesting, that you standing right there protesting with me, that you're going to pull out your cameras and you're going to say something if you see that I'm being mistreated. You're going to try to do what you can to protect me. That is Black woman protection. It don't always have to be you slapping folks. It doesn't. And we need to
Hopefully,
have that.
slapping folks is the least of the protection that you need. I think for me, the main thing is I'm gonna use this example. This video been circulating around social media. Maybe y'all seen it's a Black couple, a man and a woman, and they go through the means of protection in a real short video. But I think that video sums it up perfectly. They praying together, they playing together, they learning and studying together. And it's different ways that I feel it's not only one way that men can protect women, but that women can protect men. And like I said, holding space for each other mentally, spiritually, physically, holding space for someone and holding each other accountable and loving each other in those tough moments. And so for me, I need to know, I know a lot of people be like financially providing for. That's a huge piece.
That's protection.
That's protection, y'all. I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, and we've had this conversation on the show before. I don't need a ton monetarily. There's some people out here that need Gucci and Louis.
You see my sis out there, mommy, why doing the show? I see you, sis. I see you.
You see me, sis? You know what I'm saying?
Do it. Do that. That's protection, girl. Protect that baby.
Protect this baby and this show at the same time.
Listen. Don't do that.
But financial protection is important. I think initially it was too much financial protection and nothing else. And now the financial protection is dwindling and you're getting other things. It needs to be a balance. I need to be financially protected. Not saying I'm not what they favor, what you bring to the table. Baby, I am the table. Listen. I am bringing some financial coins to the table as well. I need to know that you are sound without me so we can be better together, because I'm going to be sound without you. And so when we come together, we're going to be good. So financially, spiritually, holding space for me, mentally holding space for me. Like you said, if I'm having a bad day, do you got me, or is you going to make it worse? Can you take a step out of yourself? Because in times where you need it, I'm going to be able to take a step out of myself to be there for you and provide that space for you. Outside of that, come on. Y'all better put sexually in there as well. You got to provide space in that arena. Okay? Protect and serve. Now, listen.
You already know how I feel about it.
Look, that's why she got that face. I hope y'all see that face. Protect and serve in that arena, okay? But it's very important that we're looking at these other elements. And caring is how you protect your Black woman. Handling her with care, speaking to her with care, making sure you make a point to know what she needs and anticipate those needs and make sure she got them needs before she asks for them. That's care. That's protection. That's protecting her mentally and physically, because baby, we be tired. And I watched The Wonder Years for the first time, the new Black one.
Oh, girl, you late. That is my
super late. I don't watch ABC, y'all. But when it happened, I started watching Abbott Elementary. And and so it came on after that. And I was like, oh, okay, I check it out. Just let it play. Girl. And then I got episodes in and I started really enjoying it because it was just playing. So I was watching. But one episode that really struck me was when he went to work with his mom and he didn't want to go to work with his mom, you know. And I'm like, it's so true because we just see our wives and
Now,
our mothers.
that is one of my favorite episodes
I
because when
love
they
that
came
episode.
home and how he was like, get her this and get her that. Like,
Yeah,
she was at work all day and now y'all
right.
get
And
this.
these chores better be done.
Yes.
He was an advocate for his mother once he saw what she had to go through on a day-to-day basis. He like, Dad, she did. She was up baking stuff, building a care package for my brother that's in the army. She cleaning up the house. My sister wanted him a skirt. All of this stuff, fixing breakfast before we leave. Now she got to work and she running the whole doggone office, not getting the credit that she deserves. She got to sit by herself because don't nobody want this black woman in no space or position that she in. Then she got to come home and do all the chores because don't nobody want to do the chores. Y'all asking her what's for dinner. Y'all asking her to pick up stuff. And she just walked through the door. And it's like women have to do all of these things that people, other women who not in the situation, their spouses, their kids don't fully understand. And not saying that men don't have other things that women don't understand, but we focusing on this end for a second. When we say protect her, it's also protecting her peace. And so if I have to work and I have a stressful job and you're listening to me because that goes into protecting me and caring. Okay, if you're listening to me and I'm telling you that I'm having stress at work or I'm having stress in this area or the kids is a bit much, you know what I'm saying, or whatever it is, anticipating the needs and being able to step up. If she texts like, "Oh, babe, today's been crazy at work," don't you walk as soon as she walk in the door, ask her what's for dinner. You should have dinner already on the table, whether you cooked it or ordered it. It should be ready for her when she get home with a glass of wine. You feel me? And just as the same as you had a bad day and you text her like, "Man, babe, they getting on my nerves. I had to blah blah blah." If that's brandy or cognac, a little henny hand, whatever you need to be sitting on the table for you when you get home as well. And
because
so that's
protection is both ways. And I feel like I don't want it to be all about, which we are going to talk next show about black men protection, because we ain't always protecting our men either. And we need to be honest with ourselves and accountable with that. And whether it's because we tired and we've felt responsible for the bulk of certain things and it's become taxing on us, it doesn't also give us the right to diminish the value and debase men. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves that sometimes we do that. We are not always being supportive and protection for them also. But because today we are just talking about the topic at hand with Will and Chris Rock situation, and him saying that it was about the protection of women, and knowing that a lot of women are saying, like, he did protect his wife and that's what he's supposed to do. I don't want to get away from the fact of there are extremities to this, right? There are different levels to this. There's different ways to protect. To me and Nat's point is that it's not always being the savage. Sometimes it's being the warrior, and warriors are strategic. They are able to understand what's in the best interest to win the war and not just the battle. Like, they play the long game. The savage is Hulk smash. I'm coming in here tearing up every damn thing right now because I'm angry. I'm flipping tables. That is the savage. And we want to have a different level of expectation for our men so that they're safe too.
Yeah.
And that we're taking care of that too. And it does not mean that he has to be the savage. So before we get up,
and I do want to say, and Will, in my respect for Will, though I feel like he had a very human, very public human moment, very aggressive public human moment. I feel him and his growth as a human being and as a man, and as a husband and as a father. Because his family is so transparent. We do get glimpses, and we ain't there, so we fully don't know it. But the glimpses that we do see in regards to their transparency, I do feel that he protects his women in his life. I feel that he protects his mother. I feel that he protects his wife, his daughter, his mother-in-law, even his ex-wife. From what I see, I feel he does protect the women in his life in the areas that we are saying. And then even other black women in the movie King Richard that he won the award for, he made sure that every woman on set got a pay increase when his co-star, I can't remember her name right now, but that girl bad. That actress is bad, baby. Okay.
Angelou,
Yeah,
yes.
baby.
You know,
Okay.
I
Lovecraft
love her
Country
from a
put
ton of
it
things, but I especially loved her in Lovecraft
in.
Country. It was
Lovecraft
like,
Country.
ooh, yes, but
Okay. That's
Angelou, prepare
yeah.
him, sis. Yes, we see
When
you,
she
Angelou. We
wasn't
see
making as much money and she told Will, he made a point to go to them like, hey, pay her more, and don't only just pay her more because she the one that's being vocal, pay all of them more, and that's what they did. And so he's protecting black women, and so I do want to say he is protecting in multiple ways, advocating, creating space.
We hear you, Jaleel. We
We
hear
having a
you.
ball over there,
I
y'all.
hear him.
But Will is creating space and being a protective man, not only just slapping people.
Listen, and that's why I'm saying we don't need to cancel. Like I'm not saying cancel him. I'm good for canceling a person or two when see fit. And so it's not necessarily that we need to boycott Will Smith and nobody should ever be bothered with him ever again in life. Still rock with his book. I think that if you actually read his book, you'll understand that there's a lot of trauma at play with that. He talks about watching his father abuse his mother growing up, and he's very graphic, very in detail about that experience and him feeling helpless, like he's never been able to protect his mom. He talks about some struggles with feeling inadequate and wanting to be loved a particular way and be admired a particular way, and for people to to like him, because he was like the ugly duckling as a kid. Like, he wasn't necessarily the popular kid until he started to kind of do some things and rap or whatnot. And he talks about that and how he really struggled with acceptance for who he was. He was awkward. Like, he talks about a lot of things that you could tell that there were many factors at play with the trauma he was experiencing in that moment, which is why I'm not saying cancel him. He definitely needs some consequences for what happened because it went too far. But I also feel like we could always extend grace because none of us are perfect. So a lot of us have not been our best selves in some particular way. I've been at a job where I almost drugged somebody a time or two, and I had to excuse myself because I was like, oh, Lord, this ain't the way. I need you to give me all the strength. I need all the force from every Jedi in the universe to have me go to my car and drive home, and let me quit before I actually do something that can get me fired or arrested at best. So we've all been there when we haven't been our best selves, and no one is trying to take that away from Will. He's human, but we also need to be able to hold ourselves accountable because accountability makes us better. That's how we transition. That's how we level up. When you make a mistake at work or you make a mistake in doing something that is important to you and you were like, man, I ain't handled that the right way. I need to go back to the drawing board and do this differently. So the next time I don't make the same mistake. We need to be able to say that to each other and know that that doesn't mean that we don't support you or that we don't love each other. It's because we love each other that we're holding that accountability. It's because we want to see you, to Nat's point, be your best self. And we got to sit in that and be comfortable with that. And we have to be sure that we're providing protection so that we're less of us are having these not so better of ourselves moments, because he's been drugged, y'all. Like, y'all have been so mean spirited to not just him, to so many other
His whole
celebrities.
family, like Jada, the kids, like everybody been getting.
Everybody. But it's not even just him. It's like we can be really, really, really nasty to celebrities. We can say some really horrific things to people in our day-to-day life. And we need to also take accountability in how we play a role in diminishing someone's mental health, in their depression, in their inability to be their best selves. It's not an excuse, but if we're talking about accountability and protection, y'all didn't protect Will. Y'all didn't protect him.
That part.
I didn't share not a meme about their entanglement stuff because I didn't think the shit was funny. I didn't think it was funny to talk about a dark point in somebody's marriage. I didn't think it was a joke. And while everyone else thought it was funny to call her all kind of names and stuff, I didn't think that that was appropriate. I done said the S word. I forgot the baby was in there. I'm sorry, Jaleel. I done said a bad word. Shame on me and put myself on timeout later. But
I don't put myself on time.
I know. That was just, listen, I done gone too far. Like, I need to hold myself accountable. It needs to be somebody. But it wasn't funny. And we need to stop making a joke of things, especially when we're not aware that it can have like real effects on people's mental health, because y'all didn't protect Will. And y'all still ain't protected him, because it's a
Or
whole
Jada.
listen, it's a whole bunch of memes going around where y'all still clowning them and making jokes about stuff. Y'all ain't protecting Chris Rock because he was humiliated. Love him or hate him, that was humiliating to have that happen. Whether we try and uplift him and say he handled it like a champ and like a man and a stand-up guy, that doesn't mean that he's not humiliated and that he didn't feel some sort of way whether his ticket sales up or not. How did that emasculate him? How did that make him feel like that he wouldn't have did that to nobody else, but he did it to him? So how does he feeling about that? So we need to be, if we're going to talk about protection, let's talk about it. And let's all hold ourselves accountable for that. That's my closing thoughts, sis. Did you want to add anything? Because we already over the hour. It's Wednesday night, and I still got to eat because I'm hungry.
Same, sis. I agree with everything you said. I think Will came from a hurt place, a place of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Do I think he handled it well? Absolutely not. I don't. But he's human. I don't want to cancel that man because he's grown tremendously, and we all been canceled at this point if we was canceling people for acting out of emotion. Okay. So no, we're not canceling him. Was he wrong? Yes. Does he need to apologize to Chris Rock if he hasn't already? I think it was a written apology on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. Cool. But also, as the listening and viewing public, we need to stay out of people's business. I'm talking about celebrities and day-to-day people, business.
That ain't gonna happen.
It's none of our business.
And it ain't. It's so much easier to people to worry about other folks' business and to sweep their own porch. So that ain't
worry about house out. You know what I mean?
Turn around and worry about yourself.
You worry about house out. Okay, that's what I'm gonna tell you.
Girl, that's one of my favorite videos.
You worry about house out.
Run around and drive. Just worry about yourself.
Worry about house out.
That's wisdom. That baby been here before. But carry on. I'm sorry. I'm
just saying that's all we can do. And if we took more time going within, we wouldn't be having as many outbursts and traumatic acting out of traumatic places as we all do in our individual lives. We were judging Will. We having a huge debate on Will and Chris and who was wrong. Can we put that same energy into our day-to-day life, into our day-to-day choices? We should be debating every single day if the actions that we are making are coming from love. Were they right or were they wrong? Should I have said that to that person that way? Every day, this same energy we putting out there for this debate, we need to be putting into our own actions. As far as protection goes, everything we have already said stands. We need to protect each other, and more than just laying hands, and more than just physical altercations. We need to make sure that mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically, we are safe, we are secure, and we are comfortable being ourselves. And if we are a public of people that diminishes people and belittle people for being who they are, for being human, for making mistakes, for living the life they want to live that has nothing to do with us, then we're going to keep kind of having these reactions. And we need to, like you said, focus on that mental health and healing, not only so that we don't judge others, but so that we can not judge ourselves and live our best life and heal the places that we need to heal within us. So we all are not out here acting out of traumatic spaces.
Facts, all facts. Well, join us in 2 weeks. Remember now, All We Gonna Talk is bi-weekly. So we will be back in 2 weeks, and we're going to hopefully have some men on this panel, on this screen, because we want to hear from men about what they mean when they're not protected. And remember, here we try never to speak from a place that we don't have experience with. So I can't tell you specifically. I could tell you based on things I've heard, but I
Right.
just think it would come better from coming, from a man, for them to explain what they need to feel protected and how we could be better for them with that, how we could provide that level of protection for them. Because remember, here we're talking about generational trauma and curses in our community. Just because it's two identifying women on the screen does not mean that it's all about us. It's about the community, all of us. Doesn't matter who we are, what we look like, how we identify. It is about protection for people, for all of us in our community, and us being our best selves. So join us next time when we're going to hear from men, hopefully expressing.
Where my men folk at? We need y'all.
We're going to make this happen. Dre and
It's
others.
about Dre.
And others. We're going to have this conversation because I think we need to hear it. So, see y'all in 2 weeks. Thank y'all. Oh, wait, I was about to say I'm going to be sharing the Melanated in America. I was trying to share your flyer, sis, because I saw the flyer for the upcoming dates. So please be looking out for that flyer of upcoming Melanated in America dates on our pages. So me and Natalie's personal pages and Oh We Gonna Talk page and Oh We Gonna Talk viewers. If you want to be an Oh We Gonna Talk viewer where we have chats and we talk about certain things and things are posted in there, feel free to join. It's open to anyone that wants to be there. And look for that flyer. You want to drop the next event that's coming up, sis? What's the next event?
Absolutely. The opening was on Saturday. It was busting. Okay. I just posted some of the pictures today, but it was a really great event, really great turnout, 60 plus.
Is it still open?
The exhibition is still opening. So all of the events that are on that list is actually going to be in the space that the exhibition is housed in. So if you come to any of the next dates for the events, you will get a chance to see the Melanated in America exhibition. It is open until May 28th. Okay. The next event, though, is April 15th, which is a Friday. So April 15th at 7 p.m. We have an open mic. It's going to be live. Sante. Sante going to come and do some poetry.
What now? What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
The open mic is gonna be amazing, and y'all should come out. It's gonna be at 7 p.m. It's at Joe B. Art Center and on the lower level at Dion Victoria Gallery. So yes, be there for the set. That's what it's called, the set open mic. And then after that, the opposite Wednesday of Oh We Gonna Talk. So not the 13th because we'll be back on the 13th for Oh We Gonna Talk. But that following Wednesday, the 20th, is going to be the SIP Prov, which is the BYOB Improv Night. It's live. We have performances. We have music, networking, and improv games. It's hilarious. We are finally bringing it back by popular demand. People been on me all quarantine, okay? So we finally going to bring the SIP Prov back. So y'all make sure y'all stay up to date on all of that. It's a list of events circulating. Y'all will get it.
Yes, we are going to be having that list available. It looks like she's looking for artists for the open mic. I don't know, to get up and speak. Yes. I might have to come and do something, but I'm like Erykah Badu. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Yes, I am, and I'm trying to be more performative. I'm getting there, but I be more in my head about stuff. Like I be in here lighting this notebook up. Look, I be lighting this notebook up. I just wrote a piece that I'm excited about. That I think is dope. It's like, I just gotta work on my nerve because that's a whole different beast. Like I could let you hear it, but it was like I need to get up and do it in front of folks. Like people don't know. Okay, I'm gonna have to work.
Oh, also, since you mentioned that, working on your performance,
I'm trying to
also have a healing through acting workshop coming up where we learn some performance techniques. Okay, and we also work through traumatic situations. So that will be coming up in April too.
I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. We're going to get off here. Thank y'all for joining us because we'll get to talking again and we look up.
It'll be in a whole nother conversation.
Look. See y'all again in 2 weeks for We Gonna Talk. We gonna talk about Black men protection. And thank y'all for sticking with us tonight. See y'all later. Bye.